was going to have any evidence that I wasn't worthy of having a nanny and living the life that I lived. So I busied myself. I busied myself with everything you can imagine to make the home work well, even while I had a nanny. As my kids went to bed, I spent my evenings in the kitchen, chopping up vegetables, making the healthiest of meals for the next day so my nanny didn't have to do the meals. And even at the end of all that, I would get down on my hands and knees and clean the kitchen floor. It was white ceramic, so it showed everything. And my nanny had left it clean for me at the end of the day before she left. I couldn't have her come in the morning and have to clean it again. Those were my everyday duties. And I just filled my day, every day, proving to everyone I was worthy. Eventually, that worry, I got caught up in that and found the wall crashing down upon me. I had a therapist say to me one time, Carolyn, it's not when or whether you would have, it's not whether you would have a breakdown, but when. Throw into that mix the fact that I was the youngest of 4 kids in a family with an alcoholic parent. So I was brought into dysfunction. I knew fear before I could speak. I lived in a small town that had a volunteer fire department and a loud siren that would alert the firefighters to get to the fire. And at that young age, my nervous system figured my house was burning down. And it did not matter where I was. If I was not at home, I would cry and to the point of nearly passing out so that my family would take me home so that I could make sure that everything was fine. Add into that mix, I chose careers that required proficiency, 100% proficiency. I took another stressful job that required me to be making decisions about people's lives, affecting their lives, and with time constraints and adjudicating appeals that people could then challenge in court. It was stressful. I had my name on all those documents and the organization's name, and it was stressful. I also chose a partner because I was a perfectionist. I chose a partner who was a perfectionist. We were gonna make things really, really, really good. Became anything but really good. My breakdown came in the summer of 2010. I saw it coming, and I couldn't stop it. You see, I had family around me close by who had suffered from mental health issues. They had depression. They were sad. They were on medication. They were getting help. But they were sad, and I was not sad. I had a good life. And everything was anything but sad. I laughed a lot, so that wasn't me. And I went to my doctor and I said, you know what, I'm not well. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm not well. She said, Carolyn, you need to take some time off. You need to take a stress leave. You gotta have a break. Oh my God, what would people say? No, I can't do that. I can't, there's no way. No, you know what, doctor? I will get counseling. I'll go see someone and talk. I just need to talk and I'll be okay. I'll get through this. I'll figure it out. So I left her office and I made some calls and I had a counseling appointment scheduled. Well, 2 days later, I was taken down to my knees in a city street in Toronto because I was in the West End and my kids were in the East End. And their camp had canceled now for the day and I couldn't get to them. And I was immobilized. But that wasn't quite enough because I then had to get into a fetal position in my bed, pull the sheets up over my head, and just cry incessantly to my nanny and my husband saying, I don't know what's wrong, but I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore, I just can't cope. They had to go and get my kids. But you see, I still had some obligations. I had some work obligations in the next couple of days, and I had a lot of food to bake. You needed anything made, call Carolyn. You needed someone to help out, call Carolyn. She'll be there. And so I did. I had coworkers I needed to take to this work event, and so I had to go. There was no getting out of it. And so I did, but also in amongst that time, I figured, I had a cottage and I had obligations that I hadn't been able to get there in a couple weeks, and I had flowers out in my garden that were going to die if I did not get to my cottage. So I knew I could go to this cottage in Muskoka and spend the day there, and then probably drive another 2 hours east of that to get to my cottage and make it before sundown and get my plants watered. It'll work out. And so I did, because I was very organized. I was mouse on the wheel. Everything was well scheduled, well planned, 15-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute intervals of things. I got it all going on. I got it all managed, all worked out. And this is in the day pre-GPS days, for me anyway. So I had my directions to the first cottage on a piece of paper. The flip side was the directions to my cottage. And all I knew is I had a really windy road to get to, and I knew it was a bit of a hellish drive, but I had my directions, I was going to be okay. So my 5-year-old and myself spent a wonderful day at my big boss's cottage. And as the day progressed, my youngest son started to get a sore bum because he'd gone to the washroom so many times, and we were on an island, and they use septic-friendly toilet paper. It's not so friendly to a young boy's bum after having to be wiped many times. And so we left that island, knowing sundown's coming. I'm kind of pushing it a little bit, but I'm okay. I got everything figured out. We'll be okay. So we get back to the mainland, get into the vehicle, strap him in. He's in his car. We're ready to go. I don't have the directions. My coworker has some on the island. She kept them. Now what am I going to do? I don't know where I'm going, but I'm smart. So I'm going to ask someone. I asked someone, how do I get to the closest town? Because my son needed some food too, so I'm going to get him fed, and then I'll ask from there and get more directions. So I did. It all worked out. And I know the sun's coming down, but I'm going to get it figured out. And we did. We got to the cottage, and I'm bringing him in and getting the truck unloaded and getting him settled into the cottage. But he had to go to the washroom one more time. And this time, I took him up to our lovely bathroom in the cottage, beautiful skylight, so I could see that the sun, really was down. It's getting dark now. And I knew that I was beating against time because, my little guy, he's got a sore bum. His butt cheeses down, he has one more poo and another sore bum. And so I try to wipe it, and I need a wet cloth. This is not working. He's starting to cry, and rightly so. So I have this lovely ceramic clawfoot tub. So I'm going to draw a bath, an oatmeal bath. That'll help him. The crying's starting, but it's okay. I'll get him settled in. So I draw the bath, and as anyone knows, when you have an open sore, regardless of how soothing that bathtub's going to feel when you're in there, the initial phase is a bit too much. And so my little guy let out such a wail, and I couldn't take that wail any longer. And I raised my hands above my head, and those hands came crashing down on that ceramic tub. The look in my child's eyes was the fear of God that I will never, ever forget, because he didn't know where these hands were going. And it wasn't until my arms started to reverberate with pain from the incessant swelling and bruising that was happening. And it wasn't until that point that I finally fell to my knees, down to my ass, picked up a phone, and called my boss and said, Linda, it's Carolyn. I need some time off. I'm not well. I'm not fine. And therein began my healing journey. And I've been one of the lucky ones. I started to take prescription medication. On the second try, I got one that worked. Lots of people never had that success. I learned cognitive behavioral therapy. Most people don't get that opportunity. There's not enough resources. I counseling. I now deal with natural medicine and essential oils to bring calm to me. I don't need prescription medication anymore. I use counseling. I have a life coach to get me through some of my dark days. I use fitness, and I use a sugar-free diet. And what I want to say to anyone else who may be feeling the same things that I do is that there's help and there's hope. And if I can say one more thing, I am not fine. I am freakingly fabulously fine. Thank you.